Hey, it's Sam here and this is the Neo 80. I'll be building it in this video and it's available with a starting price of $110 for the plateless variant. The Neo 80 will support multiple mounts and combinations, so it can be gasket mounted with the gasket jackets or gasket dumbbells included. Besides that, it can also be o-ring mounted or sandwich mounted with the o-ring and brass pillars here. There's also some extra accessories included like the rubber feet, washers, an LED diffuser, and an extra case corner protector for the keyboard. And if you get the tri-mode variant, there will also be the 2.4 GHz dongle included with a Type A to Type C adapter. For the mods, there will be one PE sheet and one PCB foam included with the PCB. For my build, I chose the tri-mode PCB so it has a on-off switch here at the caps lock key. Every variant of the PCB will be QMK VIA compatible, and it does come with the LED here above the arrow keys that will light up the Neo logo. One feature I think is really cool is that the PCB connects magnetically to the daughterboard, so there's no ribbon cables for this build. For the plate, I have two versions here. The POM plate, which is in white, is a more flexible one, and the carbon fiber plate, which is a more stiff plate. The case also has a really nice feature as it uses a screwless design, so the case can be opened and closed easily. It's called a customized ball catch structure, and the balls push in and out with a spring, allowing it to slide into the latch and also lock in securely after it's inside. I think it's really neat and much more durable than using screws that will strip eventually. For the parts and components in the case, there's the magnetic pins here that connect the daughterboard to the PCB, and it also leads to the battery in the case and the Type-C port here on the back. There's also a Neo logo CNC'd into the top case over here for the RGB on the PCB to shine through. On the bottom of the case, there's the weight, and I have the Stonewash black weight, which has like a marble finish and feel to it. It doesn't show any fingerprints, but it is pretty reflective as you can see. Alright, so for my build, I will be keeping it simple. I'll be starting off by installing the stabilizers. Here I'll be using the TXAP PCB mounted stabs. These are one of the best stabs you can get on the market now, and I've already looped mine a little bit to reduce any rattle, but they are great stock as well. And of course, do remember to install the PE sheet if you want to use it in your build. Next, the foam and plate can go in, and I'll be using the carbon fiber plate here because I've never tried one before and I'm curious how it will feel and sound. For the switches, I'm using the Wisteria V2 switches. It's a linear switch and actuates at 49 grams and bottoms out at 57, which I think is just nice. It's also a long pole linear switch and has TX keyboard's 18mm 62 gram springs inside. These switches also come hand looped out of the box, and honestly it's a really great switch, so thanks to Zepsody for sending them over. There will be links in the description below. Installing the switches was pretty easy, but I would advise you to follow their instructions as this PCB supports a lot of layouts and you might get confused, especially at the first and second row. Moving on to the mounting of the keyboard, I went with the dumbbell gaskets as I think it would be a great combination with the more stiffer carbon fiber plate. These dumbbell gaskets just hook into the PCB, and there's 14 here in total. And as I mentioned before, this is not the only way you can mount your keyboard. I will leave a link in the description so you can see other ways to mount it and how it sounds. For the keycaps, I just wanted something simple that would fit this black case, and I had the Echo SAL profile white on black keycaps on hand, and I think that would fit here nicely. These keycaps are pretty great. They are double shot ABS, and from my experience the quality is quite good as well. Once the keycaps are installed, we can move on to the case, and it's really simple. There's only two things to be installed onto the case, and the first is the bottom feet. They just stick to the four corners at the bottom of the case. The second item to install is the case foam, and it just sits at the bottom of the case like this. After all of that, the assembly is really easy as there's no screws or cables here. The PCB will connect to the daughterboard with the magnetic pins, and the top part of the case just goes on like this with the ball catch structure. Alright, so that was the Neo 80 by Qwerty Keys, and I personally think it's a really innovative keyboard with all of the features it has. The only real complaint I have is the small on and off switch at the caps lock key. Not only is it hard to access, but you need a tweezer to just turn it on or off. But besides that, for the price and what you're getting, I think it's really worth it, especially with all of the combinations and things you can choose. So if you're interested in the Neo 80, it's available in the description below, and thanks to Qwerty Keys for the early review sample. And that wraps it up for this video. Leave a like on this video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't, and remember to subscribe if you haven't. See you in the next one.